What's happening, YouTube fam? I want to welcome to Lil J Show. I am Lil J. I hope everybody is having a wonderful and blessed day today. Hope it's going absolutely amazing for you. Thank the good Lord that He woke you up this morning, woke me up this morning. I'm so very thankful for that. So we're gonna get right into it. We on the Nolan Wells situation again. It's terrible. I mean, it some stuff is coming to light. It's starting to come to light, and then it's just it comes to light, and then they turn around and try to find another way to hide it. Hide the situation. Whatever somebody finds, it's something that kind of blocks it. So people are taking like two steps forward, and then you get five back. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. And I do apologize about the description on the channel. It was supposed to say something like Bart can sue because we know it was you or something like that allegedly, but it limits you to so many words, so I couldn't put it all the way in. But I want to give out a shout out to everybody that's watching. Appreciate you checking me out, checking this thing, checking my channel out. But I don't know. Like I said, man, it's some things are coming to light. Like a lot of people are starting to put this thing on Bart. We can just say allegedly, but a lot of people are putting it on Bart, and it seems like he was the cause of it. They said something about in the beginning. He said he didn't know Katie, and come to find out he knows her. But I don't know about if they were dating or not. People are saying they were dating. He was mad. I don't know. I know one lady. She came out and said it was an initiation for them boys. They had to do this to Nolan Wells, but nobody knows. So I want to try to get into some of the stuff that I found. And what's making me believe Bart has something to do with it. And also, the young lady that's on YouTube, I think her name is J Megan. Shout out to her. She's putting it like she's putting it together. I want to go watch her little TikTok. They tied Officer Tatum into the turning point. I think they said he was on a board or something like that. So I'm gonna check that out. And there's a couple of content creators I want to watch. And Don Lemon yesterday he had a guy on there. He said Nolan Wells' friends crashed out on this thing, but he didn't really crash out. It just seems like they was, he interviewed him and then he went back later on. Him and Godfrey, shout out to Godfrey. He's a good dude. Shout out to Godfrey. It seemed like him and Godfrey, it was just something for them to laugh at. He was saying certain things and they were like twisting his words a little bit. I couldn't understand what he was saying on some points. I can understand where he was coming from. With you having parents that's a little older, like my mom is in her 80s. I got older brothers and sisters. So my mom is, in her 80s. So with her being raised up in that era, you can understand what he was saying, where he was coming from. Where some parents do, they want you to uh, stick within your race. They're not saying they won't accept the person that you're with, but some of them do. They want you to stick within your race. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, uh, not me, but some people, some parents feel like that, and my parents, she do. They feel like it's like with a person of color. Just say like black people. My mom, she always say, try to marry you a person in your race. You know what I'm saying? Try to marry you a nice black woman because they feel like it kind of feels like that a black woman will really understand the struggles that us black men have to go through. And they can kind of like relate to certain things. When some people, they may not. They may not see it the way we see it, the way we see the world, the way how we're treated. So, I can understand that, but they will accept the person that you're with, but they want to make sure that you can, have somebody that you can really relate to. So, we're gonna talk about all that too, but I want to get into, I played this guy on my last stream, where he was talking about what made him think Bart did it. So I want to check out this guy, and we're gonna see what he says. Hold on.
My take on the Nolan Wells
Hold on. Let me make. Yeah, here we go.
case, Bart did it. Now, this is allegedly, but I believe that Bart did it. I believe that Bart had some type of relationship with Katie. Katie was obviously with Nolan.
Hold on.
Bart had a
Let me dang get this right. All right, here we go.
jealous rage seeing a young black male with a white female. We know in states like Mississippi, I see it all the time in my community where white guys get jealous to see black guys with white girls. I've seen it a million times, and people who deny this are flat out lying. I believe what happened was that Bart put Nolan in a chokehold, and he didn't realize his own strength, and Nolan did not wake up. Hence the reason why we hear in the background of the CETO call, we hear, "Damn it, Bart, Nolan, wake the fuck up. Is he dead?" All this is allegedly now. Well, if he just accidentally killed him, then why wouldn't they bring him to the police? Because Bart has so much to lose. He was the star football player on his way to the NFL. A manslaughter charge, whether it's involuntary or voluntary or a negligent homicide, is not going to look well on his resume and would obviously disqualify him from his NFL career. Because of his football stardom, and apparently he has a family with the same pedigree, he has clout around town enough to get people to remain silent, enough to help construct an alibi, and also put the fear of God in these kids. Tell them that you're also going to be implicated in this, and we're all going to go down. We're all going to be arrested. Also, why they tried to place Bart not at the scene initially. Now, they went on a speaking tour. Warren did the most talking, and listening to him talk with Officer Tatum, he almost did too much talking and told on the crew. Warren says that when they got the boat back, that he went upstairs to talk to the father of one of the kids rather than hanging out with everybody downstairs. He says that they were talking about boats up there. Now, why would you even bring this up? Like, why would this even be a part of the story if it was such an innocuous thing that you were just going upstairs to randomly talk to a father about boats? The reality is because they weren't talking about boats. They were constructing an alibi and a cover story. And when they came downstairs, it was automatically like, oh, what happened to Nolan? Where is Nolan? Has anybody seen Nolan? Let's call the Coast Guard. Why would they call CETO? Why would they call the Coast Guard? Because it creates a timeline. It creates like a paper trail of where they could have been anywhere but with Nolan. Also, why would you call the Coast Guard if you truly believe that Nolan just was behind with the girl Katie? Even if Katie had came back at that point, why wouldn't you think he's off with some other girl or doing something else? Why would you think something nefarious happened? Why? Because you had his phone and you knew that something nefarious happened. Again, this is allegedly. Let's smoke them out. What doesn't come out in a wash always comes out in a rinse.
All right, so he had a couple of points there, but I had to stop it, man. I thought it wasn't showing up on that screen, so I want to play it one more time, and I'm gonna kind of tell you why I'm gonna tell you what I think about this.
My take on the Nolan Wells case, Bart did it. Now, this is allegedly, but I believe that Bart did it. I believe that Bart had some type of relationship with Katie. Katie was obviously with Nolan. Bart had a jealous rage seeing a young black male with a white female. We know in states like Mississippi, I see it all the time in my community where white guys get jealous to see black guys with white girls. I've seen it a million times, and people who deny this are flat out lying. I believe what happened was that Bart put Nolan in a chokehold and he didn't realize his own strength, and Nolan did not wake up. Hence the reason why we hear in the background of the CITO call, we hear, "Damn it, Bart, Nolan, wake the fuck up. Is he dead?" All this is allegedly now. Well, if he just accidentally killed him, then why wouldn't they bring him to the police? Because Bart has so much to lose. He was the star football player on his way to the NFL. A manslaughter charge, whether it's involuntary or voluntary or a negligent homicide, is not going to look well on his resume and would obviously disqualify him from his NFL career. Because of his football stardom, and apparently he has a family with the same pedigree, he has clout around town enough to get people to remain silent, enough to help construct an alibi, and also put the fear of God in these kids. Tell them that you're also going to be implicated in this, and we're all going to go down. We're all going to be arrested. Also, why they tried to place Bart not at the scene initially. Now, they went on a speaking tour. Warren did the most talking, and listening to him talk with Officer Tatum, he almost did too much talking and told on the crew. Warren says that when they got the boat back, that he went upstairs to talk to the father of one of the kids rather than hanging out with everybody downstairs. He says that they were talking about boats up there. Now, why would you even bring this up? Like, why would this even be a part of the story if it was such an innocuous thing that you were just going upstairs to randomly talk to a father about boats? The reality is because they weren't talking about boats. They were constructing an alibi and a cover story. And when they came downstairs, it was automatically like, oh, what happened to Nolan? Where is Nolan? Has anybody seen Nolan? Let's call the Coast Guard. Why would they call CETO? Why would they call the Coast Guard? Because it creates a timeline. It creates like a paper trail of where they could have been anywhere but with Nolan. Also, why would you call the Coast Guard if you truly believe that Nolan just was behind with the girl Katie? Even if Katie had came back at that point, why wouldn't you think he's off with some other girl or doing something else? Why would you think something nefarious happened? Why? Because you had his phone and you knew that something nefarious happened. Again, this is allegedly. Let's smoke them out. What doesn't come out in a wash always comes out in a rinse. My take on
Well, he's right about that. I know one thing, man, that I that he said about him wanting to be in the NFL and all that stuff. And I that's even if I feel like even if he did, if he had something, if he was involved with that, um I really would think like the NFL wouldn't even, or even a college wouldn't even want to have anything to do with him, even if he had, even if they didn't put him as a suspect, because all this stuff is going on and nobody knows what happened to Nolan. So everything is pointing towards him. Just like they said, he says, "Damn it, Bart," but we don't know what "Damn it, Bart" could have been. Anything, anything that could have happened with Bart. Maybe he missed the rope that they were trying. Oh, it could have been anything. But to me, I feel like um, Nolan was on that other boat because in that call, it doesn't sound like those people are like really close to, I guess, Wyatt that was making the phone call. It really doesn't sound like they're close. Sound like they would be on the other boat. Like something did happen. Maybe he did put him in the chokehold allegedly, but I feel like those NFL teams, which they're probably not, because they probably don't care. But college and all that stuff, I wouldn't even let him play if this goes. If it doesn't, if nobody, they don't find out what happened to him. And when it comes down to him going back to Wyoming or wherever he was playing college, I don't think. I think they should just let him sit out until they really find out what actually happened. Because what if he does? What if he did do this? He goes on to be this great player for Wyoming and then goes into the NFL. And then maybe 4 or 5 years later, it comes out he has something to do with it. That would be terrible. So I kind of think that they shouldn't even deal with him. So um, I don't know. I think this guy's on to something. I really do. Just want to watch. Look at this guy. See what this guy. This is another thing about Bart. Sorry, this has no sound. But it says Bart is wanted in the Nolan Wells case because he lied and tried to change his location, which he did. When it first came out, he said he wasn't there to not put himself on Horn Island for the 4th of July. And he used to date Katie and was mad because Nolan and Katie had a thing going on. The tow call places Bart at the scene of the crime when Nolan Well was killed. It's saying when he was killed allegedly. I'm just gonna put allegedly to it because you don't know. And then they're talking about suing people. That's one thing I just don't understand. If you are trying to find out what happened to your friend, why would you go off saying you're gonna sue somebody? And then this one guy, his dad puts up a 50K reward, but he doesn't put the money with the other, like the money that Tyler Perry, whoever, that he doesn't put his money, he keeps his money to the side and then threatens to sue being Crump. They're saying that it was about race, and it's really not. I mean, they're the ones that brought the race into it. The only reason why they're saying it's about race is because the mother hired Ben Crump. Well, the family hired Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. So they hadn't said anything about. I haven't heard none of them say if this was a white kid, this would. I never heard none of that coming from the family. None of that. It's coming from us, but it's not coming from the Nolan Wells mom. It's not coming from Ben Crump. None of that. So they can't say that they're trying to be racist about it. The one that's really trying to be racist and try to make everybody seem like they're racist on the other side is that Brandon Tatum. I really feel like that. Since I have a question, hold on. Let me look at this question we got. I have a question. Could the Mississippi medical examiner inject drugs into Nolan's body? I sure hope not. I really hope they don't do that. I mean, that's a good question, man, but I really hope they don't. And if they do, man, it would be hard to tell if he did it or if they injected it or if he did it on his own. So I just really hope that they don't do that at all, man. I hope they really just do this right. But they're saying that the whole town, they all know each other. Like I'm pretty sure the judge, the medical examiner, all of them, they probably go to Christmas parties and all these little events together, so they know each other. So if anything, they're gonna use whatever they can to not get those boys in trouble. I seen this guy here too. What he was saying, man, it's kind of crazy. Which a lot of us blacks, we already know this.
Black people, you have got to teach your kids, especially your kids that are hanging out with rich white kids. That is not good. You got to stop letting them hang out with rich white kids. This Nolan Wells situation never should have happened. The parents of Nolan Wells should have known better than to let him hang out with these kids. I have an older son. I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but I'm just saying it happens all the time. My older son is half black. He looked more black than he did half. But he got into a similar situation. He was fighting with a bunch of rich kids in North Atlanta, the North Atlanta suburbs, the richest neighborhood in Cherokee County, Georgia. And he was fighting with a bunch of boys over a girl. And lucky for him, he didn't wind up dead. He just wound up locked up for a while. But it could have wound up with him being killed. And, we as parents, we have to do a better job in informing our children about who they should and shouldn't hang out with, because matters. The color of your skin matters, especially when you're hanging out with a bunch of rich kids that have, doctors and lawyers and judges as parents. You know that your kid is going to either wind up locked up or dead. So my heart goes out to Nolan Wells' family. I really hate that it happened to him, but you gotta protect your children, because white people will kill your children at the drop of a hat. That's just the way it is, especially these entitled little rich white kids. God loves you. I love you.
He kind of messed up in the end. He talking about black people will kill you. Some black kids will kill your kids. He said it wrong, but I mean, I can see. I kind of relate to where he coming from because my story, I had something like that, but it wasn't. You know, it wasn't that serious. You know, I went to a all white private school in the ninth grade, and you know, I'm a little older, so that was back when Too Short came out. He had that CD cuss words. So I played on the basketball team. It was me and another black guy. But I had started hanging out with it was four guys. There was four white guys that was on this type. One guy had a Mustang, really nice Mustang, nice stereo system and everything. So I took the CD with me. He came and picked me up. We went somewhere. I took my CD, the CD. We was listening to it. He drops me off. Hey man, think I can hold this CD? I'm like, yeah, I can. So that Monday I go to school, man, they call me in the office. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on, man? They call me in, they telling me, you know, talking to me and everything. So the principal comes in with the CD, and I'm like, oh my God. That's like, well, such and such got caught with this CD, and he said it's yours. Is this yours? And I'm like, yes, mine. So it's like, well, I'm sorry, we're just gonna have to expel you from this school. Well, they expelled me, kicked me out of that school, but that guy, he went on to stay there, graduated, everything. He was the one that got caught with it, so but I was the one that got kicked out. So I mean, the color of your skin really does matter in some states, and that was in Texas. So I want to get to let me see if I want to talk about this one here. Yeah. Let's look at this girl right here. Shout out to I guess her name is J Megan. She's gonna be talking about this situation about Officer Tatum. And then I want to get to something where they said that it was the third arrest. It's been three people that's been arrested, and somehow he's just blaming it on. There, he's saying that it's the parents and Ben Crump. It's their fault. The reason why all these threats are being sent out to the family. But let's listen to her.
So Warren already had a boat hooked up when he woke up that morning. I'm assuming that that had to be the Triton that was hooked up, right? Then he said that Wyatt went and put his smaller boat, the Palm Beach, into the water. Then Warren said that he was the one who drove the Palm Beach to their friend's dock. Assuming that Wyatt drove the Triton to the dock and Bart drove his own boat to that dock, who drove the Palm Beach out to the water then? Because he said that he got a ride in with Bart, even though at one point during the interview he said all of his stuff was on the Palm Beach. So it sounds to me like Warren was the one driving the Palm Beach. I'm also like, what parent would let their kid, who's obviously going off to party, take two of their boats and let them let their drunk friends drive? Like, it isn't making sense to me. I mean, maybe these parents are just shitty parents and irresponsible. Then he also said that he contacted Bart that morning to see if he could come, and Bart was like, yeah, I can give all your friends a ride, blah blah blah. According to him, there were 10-ish people, 15 people on that boat. So where were those people originally supposed to ride in on? They'd been planning it for weeks. They were excited about it. Why did Bart have to suddenly step in and take all these people? And remember, Bart said that his dad had canceled going out on the boat that day, so he could do it. Something's not adding up here. I think there was an adult somewhere in this mix. It would also explain how they all thought quickly on their feet with the sea tow. I wouldn't be surprised if an adult didn't come out there and just go off with other adults that were also on Horn Island and let the kids hang out with the boats. Here's where things are going to get interesting, folks. There are more GPS coordinates in the report than what we have seen publicly. I'm going to play you a clip from the interview, but remember, at 5:30 is when they started picking up regular speed, all right? It's right here, 525, speed miles, 30 to 35 knots. So here we go.
Planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 40, 42 miles an hour. And so all that excess water that was built up in the boat is coming out of the boat. So, I mean, that's what we had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou, and we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the islands.
Now, you heard him. He said that they took off going 40 miles an hour, and they didn't go to his buddy's grandparents' house, but they went to Fort Bayou to go do a plug thing. Except right here, 5:44, vessel arrives at El Camino Road. 8 minutes later, then it departs from El Camino Road and headed east into Fort Bayou. So right there, we have a lie. The boat did stop before going into Fort Bayou. 6 minutes later, it comes back to El Camino Road, and the vessel departed El Camino Road half an hour later, headed southwest to St. Martin Bayou, and then turned southeast into Biloxi Bay Bridge. Then they went back to the Bayou boat launch. Then the boat was taken to Cardinal Lane, which was Wyatt's residence. Now, because I am an absolute genius, I was able to find it. This was where they left and where they came back that day, then came back several times. Now, first off, why aren't we seeing footage of them returning that day? We know that Nolan was with them when they left. So why do they have the security cams from that morning, but not that night? Whose grandparents live there? Jax Patalo, whose family owns a pharmacy. It goes back deeper than that because George Patalo Sr., which is Jax's great-grandfather who is deceased, as it turns out, his great-grandfather was appointed and served on the staff of Mississippi Governor Cliff Finch. As you can see, I've confirmed Jax's relation to him. And as it turns out, Cliff Finch, well, he was in the Mississippi House of Representatives from 1960 to 1964 and supported racial segregation and backed the racist governor, to preserve segregation in the state. The federal grand jury conducted a 3-year-long investigation into his administration and several state agencies, and they were all accused of corruption and mismanagement. Finch was never found guilty himself, but some of his aides and appointees were indicted. And those sort of political connections seem to trickle down through the generations, so now we know why the governor got involved. And I started looking into the lawyer that's handling the defamation case from the Bart family. So from 2015 to 2018, he was state director of Americans for Prosperity. Then in 2018 to 2020, he was vice president of Stand Together while being vice president of Americans for Prosperity. Stand Together is a Charles Koch nonprofit, and Americans for Prosperity is a libertarian conservative political advocacy group affiliated with Charles Koch and David Koch. And if you don't know who the Koch brothers are, they're fucking evil. Guess who's one of the major funders for Turning Point USA? Major donors for the Koch brothers also are primary financial pillars for Turning Point USA, specifically their campus operations. And guess who used to serve as the director of urban engagement?
Before I dive into
that's the reason why I wanted to play that, because I wanted to show y'all something about this Tatum guy. And everybody's saying they have their different reasons of why he was called in to interview these boys. But I think the reason why he was brought in, it was for that racial stir. Because I'm fixing to show you. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I'm fixing to show you something. This video that he did yesterday, where he's blaming. This is where he says like the arrests were made, and once we watch this, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna read the arrest that has been made. Excuse me. That's the rest that has been made in this Nolan Wells case, but it's just been threats. That's it. But there is a part where he's going live and he's sitting up here talking about this lady because she's not I guess you could say not on their side. And watch the way he talks about her. This is crazy. I'm gonna put it right there where it's at.
Was lying. She made the whole thing up. No allegedly, no nothing. She just made it up. Here's another one.
You gotta be a sick. It's a sick world we live in, where about 5 to 8 kids are able to try to keep a secret pertaining to the life of a black person. 7 to 8 white kids are keeping a secret. That's how much they tell you they don't value our lives. You gotta be. Are we in Disney World? Is this La La Land? This feels like a movie. You mean to tell me 7 to 8 white kids are keeping a secret about a black kid's life? Together? Conspiring? Nobody cracked? They got it from somewhere. Now the token black guy, I don't know if token is derogatory, but now the black guy that came, smashed all your girls, all the girls on them because they want that chocolate, huh?
Oh yeah, hold on.
These are
I'm sorry.
prime candidates.
There we go. Hold on. I went too
I
far.
don't know
I'm
what
so
language
sorry.
he's speaking, but they real coming. This is so far against Warren Hudson's family. And it's a whole bunch of other people finna get arrested once they find out their identity, but at least 3. And let me tell you what this means. If anybody try to say that Nolan Wells' family and Benjamin Crump is just looking for answers, then if they're just looking for answers, why are these people getting death threats? It's because they've portrayed the Warren family and all these white boys as suspects, claiming that they did something to Nolan. How do you know, Mr. Tatum? 3 people have been arrested on one side. Nobody's been arrested on the other side.
They're not arresting. That lady's getting death threats too, as well. He's not mentioning the death threats that Nolan Wells' mom is getting. He's not mentioning it. And they're not arresting the people that's sending her death threats. They're just arresting people that's, I guess, sending the judge death threats because she works for the government. Is that what it is? I don't know. I believe that's why they're arresting these people, because they're threatening a federal judge.
I'm saying they're not getting threatening messages, but they're not getting to this degree. 3 people have been arrested against the white side. Here's a couple people that should get arrested once they find out who these people are. Roll the clip.
Watch how he talks about this lady.
Your son is a piece of shit, and he's about to get all the way up. Don't run now, you use a punk just like your son. You him. You guys are gonna get what the coming to you. I know he killed that little kid, man. You guys aren't. Your wife ain't. All you racist pieces of shit. All you.
All right, next.
Yeah, nah, answer the phone. You and your folks think y'all ass so smart, so slick. All these other your son gonna get the worst of it. And he know it. Y'all ain't say, y'all can't say that little nigga. Y'all can't say y'all self. But just know it coming. It real coming.
Real coming.
Yo, sons and them gonna disable their account and all this other Bruce style. They know what's going on. They know what they did. They disabled that shit for a reason. They lowered up for a reason. They don't follow this ass for a reason. They know. Yo, was scared to answer that phone because you know what's going on. And ain't nobody scared of y'all white ass on Jesus. A face y'all.
Jesus.
Ain't nobody worried about you.
All right,
ain't
next
nobody
clip. We
scared.
played these yesterday, but for the people that didn't see it, I'm showing you some clips on it. He said they real coming. That's a I don't know what language he's speaking, but they real coming. I need to make a shirt. They real coming. You coming over Uncle them house? Do it, bro. They real coming. You mean they're coming for real? Are they real coming? All right, come on. Here's another idiot.
Hello, am I speaking with Benjamin Hudson, mister?
Who is this?
You and your son gonna die, little bro. And your wife. For what y'all did.
I don't mean to laugh, but God of mercy, the ignorance. Who raising these people?
I mean, he got a point there. I mean, if anybody's sending anybody or doing these death threat things, they need to stop that, man, because it makes no sense. But it's just proving his point to where he's saying that it's Ben Crump and the family's fault when they get these calls, but he's not sharing the calls that's coming that Nolan Wells' mom is getting. Nobody's not doing that. They're staying quiet. I know they want to. They should. Everybody's saying they should come out and share them, but I think they're doing the right thing by staying quiet. Maybe once this is over and Nolan gets his justice, then we'll hear all that bull crap that they're getting. So
You gonna die, little shorty. They real coming. Yeah, how about y'all get an education and then insult people? All right, so Warren and them have raised $134,000. Shout out to them. The only reason I support this is because they have been getting relentless death threats, and there is no findings that they had anything to do with this. The only reason we're talking about them because they're white. Because none of these pictures, none of these articles feature any of the black friends. None of them. Nobody's saying that Trayston had anything to do with it. They're not even accusing Trayston. Trayston already have an alibi. But they ain't even talking about Trayston. They don't even bring him up. Then Javon, I think that Javon saw Nolan after all this. Not saying he had anything to do with it. I don't think he did. Why y'all ain't asking him nothing? Why y'all not having all of them as people who could be involved? It's only the white people. And because Trayston went on an interview with me, now ignorant black folks are threatening him and all this other stuff. It's insanity. 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 Come on, let's look at some other mindless fools. And when the lawsuits start hitting, these are prime candidates. I'm going to send all of these to the lawyers and let them make a decision. These people are out of their minds. Now, I'll say this. If this stuff was true, I see why y'all believe they didn't kill them. But they just made it up. Made it up. No facts. Made it up. Listen.
Those boys knew the mom was looking for the phone. So they had to dip out, go give the mom the phone, call the Coast Guard. The body was probably in the boat. Bro, because what time did the mom retrieve the phone? Right? They called the Coast Guard at 11. That makes sense. They were, the mom's looking for the phone. The mom's looking for, what do we do? That's why the boat was parked at the judge's house. Because they knew the mom had to go to the other kid's house to get the phone, and the body was in the boat in front of the judge's house, waiting to be dropped off.
She didn't say allegedly. She didn't say I'm joking. She didn't say I'm finna, they might. That snag-a-tooth trailer trash woman, Lord help me. Come on.
Sorry, all these, like, he wouldn't be calling this lady snag-a-tooth trailer trash if he was a man of God. What do y'all think? Now, he's saying that there's no evidence, but there is. I mean, a lot of people, all these content creators, they're coming up with many stories. Some of them make sense, some of them don't, but a lot of them do make sense. Like the phone. And why, and that phone situation, that's another story, but why would the Warren guy, call the Coast Guard that night if he knew that Nolan was with the girl? I mean, come on, think about it. If you knew that your friend had went off with some girl, why are you gonna be so worried about it now? Like I said, if he didn't show up the next day, you know what I'm saying? You show up the next day, like, damn, where's this cat at? You know what I'm saying? What's going on with him? But that night, because he already knew what was going on. He already knew what happened. So there's plenty of evidence to show or to believe that they had something to do with it. Now, those black kids that was on that island, what reason would they have to do with hurting? Why would they want to hurt Nolan? I don't. I can't see it. They didn't. He didn't go. He didn't get on a boat with some black kids. He got on a boat with these guys. And like I said, if you just pay attention to everything this man is saying, they brought him in to keep it racial because you don't hear the Crump saying anything like this. You don't hear anything being said like this from the mother, from anybody on that side. Is they just want to know what happened. But here we got this guy right here. He's doing the now he's talking about the threats and how, you know what I'm saying? How could it be? They're just racist. That's not true, man. He's the one that brought it in, and I think they brought him in to try to keep us will make us lose focus on what's really happening. Cause everybody's trying to figure it out, and a lot of these people are getting really close.
Let me take it back. That woman.
Okay, here we go about this.
You know what she looked like and how she acting. Was lying. She made the whole thing up. No allegedly, no nothing. She just made it up. Here's another one.
You got to be a sick. We got to be it's a sick world we live in, where about 5 to 8 kids are able to try to keep a secret pertaining to the life of a black person. 7 to 8 white kids are keeping a secret. That's how much they tell you they don't value our lives. You gotta be. Are we in Disney World? Is this La La Land? This feels like a movie. You mean to tell me 7 to 8 white kids are keeping a secret about a black kid's life? Together? Conspiring? Nobody cracked? They got it from somewhere. Not a token black guy. I don't know if token's derogatory, but not a black guy that came, smashed all your girls, all the girls on them because they want they want that chocolate, huh? Hung to the knee, pause. I don't mean to be insensitive, but they wanted that chocolate. They wanted that, what you can't give them. Hate. All you came together. All the guys came together to conspire, to keep a secret about Nolan Wells. How deep is Mississippi? We know the history of Mississippi. We know the history of racism. We know the history of that, right? Mississippi burning. There's a lot of things that happen in Mississippi pertaining these things.
I can't handle the pure Neanderthalic ignorance. I made that word up. So somebody like, I made it up. I made a word up. Here's another one. Lawyers, if you out there, put the guy on there. You missed him. Him. Roll it.
Take on the Nolan Wells case. Bart did it.
Bart did
now,
it.
This is allegedly, but I believe that Bart did it.
Time out. Bart lawyers, where you at? Come on. You can't just say allegedly and then that covers you. No, you came out and knowingly and intentionally made a false statement. Roll it.
Had some type of relationship with Katie. Katie was obviously with Nolan. Bart had a jealous rage seeing a young black male with a white female. We know in states like Mississippi, I see it all the time in my community, where white guys get jealous to see black guys with white girls. I've seen it a million times, and people who deny this are flat out lying. I believe what happened was that Bart put Nolan in a chokehold, and he didn't realize his own strength, and Nolan did not wake up. Hence the reason why we hear in the background of the CETO call, we hear, "Damn it, Bart, Nolan, wake the fuck up. Is he dead?" All this is allegedly now. Well, if he just accidentally killed him, then why wouldn't they bring him to the police? Because Bart has so much to lose. He was the star football player on his way to the NFL.
Bart was on his way to the NFL? Can somebody verify that? Bart was on his way to the NFL. These kids were like freshmen in college.
I keep muting myself. I'm sorry, but Bart was 22, and he played football, I think, for Wyoming, and he is trying to get into the NFL. And I believe he had an uncle or somebody in his family that played in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I believe so. But I'm kind of like, I'm watching this guy. I really don't want to, but I'm watching. I just want to see if he's going to react to the girl that we just watched, y'all. You know, the one that just said that he had ties to Turning Point. I want to see it because I hadn't seen this yet. So I just want to watch a couple of more before I get into this Don Lemon interview. I want to see if he's going to react to what she said. And I bet he won't because he knows that that's true.
Anyway, I seen the video. Bart's boat. All that. I'm just going to say I don't think nobody was in any position to fight nobody. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think nobody was in a position to fight anybody. And I saw pictures of Nolan, and I don't think nobody whooping Nolan anyway. I don't think nobody in this friend group is whooping Nolan. I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't seen Bart. Maybe he's bigger. He's a senior in college? Yeah, what college he at? He not at a major university. Yeah. Wyoming Cowboys D2, D1 AA. He can still go to the league, but he's not. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch him play. He could still go to the league and be a second round draft pick. First, second. He could be. If he's great, you can still go to the league out of a smaller school. But to project that is crazy. I mean, anyway. And what make you think, if he did go to NFL prospect, what do you think he'll kill a kid for? All right. I saw the boat video. Nolan was nowhere on this boat. And I don't think nobody, from what I see, I don't think anybody was trying to fight anybody anyway on that boat. There was no fighting.
Hey, there's been a lot of killings and things like that. And, people do that at a young age and they go out to do big things. And then once they get their career going or whatever, then that's when the FBI's find out what actually happened and go get him. So he can't sit there and say that. I kind of believe, like the dude said, he was jealous. He was jealous. He was seeing Katie or something. Maybe he wanted Katie. I don't know, but I really believe he was jealous. Or hey, like I seen another one TikTok lady said it was an initiation for those boys. So I don't know.
No legitimate fighting, I guess. All right, here's another one. Where the lawyers at? Look at here. Look at this one. Roll it.
Bart is mystery guy on the sinking boat call. Yeah, Bart is also the guy who Warren Hudson was trying to protect in his interview with Officer Ray Stading Tatum.
Tatum.
He kept saying my buddy. But at first he was like, Bart and Bart. And then it's like he caught himself and he started referring to Bart as my buddy, right? And now I know why Warren was trying to protect Bart. I'll tell you in a moment. Why did Warren go out of his way to try to protect him out of all people? Why is he trying to protect this guy? That there is a massive murder cover-up.
What?
You see, Bart also has a father who is Bart Edmiston Sr. And if I am to believe, and Bart got some splaining to do. Bart, I'm telling you, whatever you know, you need to come on out right now, man. You might be able to save your football career. But you're not going to be able to circumvent this murder mystery.
All right. Please, Bart's attorney, please get him. If you don't get nobody else, get him and this dude with a pimple on his forehead talking stupid. This dude. I don't know how people listen to him. It's funny that these woke black folks will listen to white people disparage black people because they don't agree. They let them say all kind of disparaging things about black people. Call them coons, Uncle Tom, sellouts, everything. They get a pass. These people just making up stuff. Here's another one. Roll it.
What you need to know is...
Hold on, but didn't this dude just said he hate black folks. He hate ignorant black folks. So what is it? You mad because nobody's listening to you? Nobody's paying attention to you? I think, man, this dude he's something else. I don't understand how he can sit up there and talk about his own race like that. and then he tries to turn it around and make it seem like it's us that's being racist, but it's actually him. It's really him.
This is a very affluent community, and the people involved, we have judges, we have a governor, we have a sheriff, so they're all in bed together. The medical examiner states.
This man said, all of them are in bed together with zero evidence. That is defamation. You don't have any, you're projecting that they have something to do with this boy's death, which is causing them to get death threats. And you have no evidence that this is true. Roll it.
C. Turner, who we know is famous for labeling Black deaths as accidental, right? And something to know about this is that all of these families have it in their best interest to discredit Ben Crump, to discredit the family from the work they're doing to try and get justice for Nolan Xavier Wells. The autopsy, right? The autopsy should have been released a long time ago. And keep in mind, if this was an accidental drowning, Mississippi wants nothing more than to bury this thing and to have it be over with and get the national attention off of them. So
time out. You know you're stupid and you've never investigated any crimes ever, never seen a crime investigated from start to finish, because no, they do not want to release the autopsy. You all are stupid enough to insinuate things that don't exist, so you are going to look stupid in the end because you did not wait. You do not want to release information while you're actively in an investigation. You want to dot your I's, cross your T's, do everything by the book according to the law, therefore going through the process without disclosing any information until the investigation is complete and you can give a person a complete story. Anything outside of that will compromise the investigation. Preliminarily saying we don't have evidence of a foul play at this time is standardized. They give you something until they can finish the investigation.
I mean, he has a point there, but then you gotta look at their backgrounds. You know, like they said that what is that? The lady that did the autopsies. I don't know. I mean, they said that she botched like 5 or 6 autopsies, all Black people. You know, so I mean, just look at. That's why people are saying that they're questioning everything. And I'm pretty. This is a very small town. And the judge, I know the judge knows the sheriff. You know, they probably know all each other. Like I said, they probably go to Christmas parties and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure, I know for sure that judge knows that sheriff and a few deputies. And maybe the Marine people too, you know. I know they know some. They can't sit there and say that they don't. It's a small town.
And I think it was a problem that what's his face, Ben Crump, put the autopsy out because it interferes with the investigation, in my opinion. Roll the clip.
We can't assume or believe it's an accidental drowning because their autopsy that they're holding back with the grand jury testimony waiting, they would have put it out. Now, they're already trying to discredit the CETO phone call, which all of us can hear very clearly, certain things in there that you cannot unhear that make this very suspicious and deserve more investigation. I'm not going to sit here and believe TMZ or Officer Race Tatum when they claim now, a day after Leonetta Brantley comes out with this audio, that all of a sudden 2 witnesses have come forward. Don't you think that's a bit coincidental? Witnesses who said that
these people had already talked to the police. They didn't come forward. This was already a fact. They came and told TMZ. They already came forward. It's already a fact. We already knew this. The boys that talked to me already said this exists. In the interview, Warren said that they were gone already. This is not new. It's because you guys are liars. After the phone call me and TMZ did, no, we did not. We didn't have to do nothing. You guys didn't hear that. That's why Benjamin Crump ain't even identifying with this. And if that lady was really a person who authentically got to the bottom of a phone call, she would have never released a biased transcript. She created the transcript. All right, next one.
This whole thing with Nolan Wells, he goes on a trip on Horn Island, goes on a boat with, I guess it's his friends. Some people were saying, oh, it's his best friends. It's not. then everybody comes back. He doesn't. And then just right off the rip, it gets weird because the parents are looking for him. Hey, what's going on? Where's Nolan? Not
Time
sure.
out. You know, this is why people think stuff and it's not true, and some of y'all should get sued. They didn't go looking for Nolan. The friends reached out to Miss Christine and told them that Nolan was missing. She would have never known she was asleep. The boys called the Coast Guard. The boys went out the next morning on a boat looking for Nolan. Not his family, not his parents.
That's a lie. I'm tired of watching him, man, because the dad did say he went out on a boat and was looking for his son. And it was crazy that he went out there and then a few hours later he ended up, the body is there, you know what I mean? And he had just went there looking. So I mean, but like I said, like they said, them tides, it could push stuff out and push stuff in. So we don't know, but he did say that he went out looking for him. I'm gonna get to this interview because this guy right here now, Don Lemon supposedly did an interview. Well, he did do an interview with one of the
Promo code.
family of the friends, well, a friend of the family. But this is the one he did the interview. But this is the one where him and Godfrey. Shout out to Godfrey, man. I like him. He's pretty good. They were kind of making fun of the guy, and the guy he had a few good points in what he was saying, man. But they were just trying to make fun of it and twist it and turn it, just saying certain things that I know that he didn't say, or he said it and he meant it in a different way. So let's check this out.
Lemon. That's TAKELEAN.com. The promo code is LEMON.
And thank you to our sponsors. They keep us powered. Back now with Godfrey. Godfrey,
what up?
Someone in the comments said, let me show you. So hold on one second.
Oh.
Hold on one second.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so Godfrey, sorry, I was texting someone. It's a very important text. It's a very important text. Okay, so Godfrey, someone in the comment section, wait, let me get back to Godfrey. Where is Godfrey? Where Godfrey at? Okay, here it is. So Godfrey, someone said this about you going to the gym. Now, they're saying you all lotioned up, you're not ashy. Now,
I'm not ashy, but I ain't lotioned up. I don't get greasy before I go work out.
Go to the gym. Now, are you one of those people? Do you shower? I'm in a shower before I go to the gym because I won't stink in front of nobody.
Well, I shower before. Yeah, I'm always clean, before I go to the gym. I don't stink and stuff like that. But I don't usually take showers at the gym really because I come right back home. You know what I'm saying?
No. I shower before I go to the gym, get in the car or walk to the gym. And then, because sometimes people be.
There's a lot of weirdos, especially old white dudes like to dry they nutsack with the dryer, nasty. And white dudes are always naked the longest. They just be, hey, how you doing, Bob? Yeah. I'm like, could you put your balls away?
Wait.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no! You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, man. I be like this. And all the black dudes, we be wrapped up like mummies just trying to put our clothes on.
3,000.
Right. We have 8 towels. We hopping with 18 towels. We look like a mummy. You know how women would take off their bra without taking off their shirt? That's how we put our underwear on. We like, shit, let me see. And the white dude just be like butt ass naked, no towel, just walking around. Hey, man, how was your workout? I don't know. You're
Don Lemon, aren't you? Hey.
Right. Like, hey, yeah, it's hard to talk with your ball sack out, buddy. Could you get your scrotum away from me? Thanks. And you're using the hair dryer. That's what we want to use. But it's on your scrotum. That's a little nasty.
Luckily, I don't need this. I don't need the hair dryer.
Yo, it's so crazy. They just stay around. They're naked for so long. I go, yo, my man, do me this favor real quick. Get the towel, wrap yourself around, because I'm not about that. We need to have some etiquette. It's nasty, man. I'm like, ugh.
Okay, so this morning, Godfrey, You have been reporting on this Nolan Wells thing, and I have been reporting on this Nolan Wells thing.
But you really report on it.
Yeah, I said that's my question, man. Right there, I guess show 8380. Say why y'all leave them if y'all guys came together? Doesn't make sense, but don't make any sense, and it doesn't. Um, the Godfrey guy, did y'all hear about that? It was some I can't remember one of the comedians. It was another guy. He does a show, and they all from New York, but he ended up calling Godfrey the N word, and Godfrey responded to him and told him he was gonna come see him. And then the guy, I can't remember this guy's name, but he ended up responding, talking about, man, that if Godfrey comes to see him, he's gonna see my gun or something like that. It's crazy. So I would have put a lawsuit on him or whatever, man. Or if he see him, man, it's on site because he just really threatened Godfrey's life, man. It's crazy. This world is getting like really crazy. It's starting to be that black white thing. It's sad too because it didn't used to be like that.
Because you're about that journalistic thing,
So can we talk about an interview that I did this morning? And I'm not making fun of this guy. Maybe you want to, I don't know, but it was one of the craziest interviews. And I hate to say when people are in the sunken place, but I felt like I don't want to put words in your mouth. Andy, you choose the one you want to roll for Godfrey, and then we'll go with it.
Uh-oh. Oh boy.
I know that. I'm from the South. I've been saying that people in the South, black people and white people integrate more than they do in the North. But that's mostly about socioeconomics. Doesn't mean that racism is solved. It's because basically those people who live together are the same part of the socioeconomic group. So if you are mostly middle class people and you have grown up there, you are going to pretty much be together in the same places. But here in the North, it is about rich people who are all together. Most of them mainly are white because that's sort of, generational wealth. Most black people didn't have the opportunity to do that. But here in the North, it is more polarized than it is in the South. The South, I think, used to be segregated, but people are more polarized here in the North than they are in the South.
Now, I know you can speak on that better than most because you're from the South and you've been living all over. You've been living in the North. So I can understand.
Not only am I from the South and living in the North, my family just left here. And we had a long discussion about this and a long discussion about people who believe that racism is over or just because people are what they're called, there's race mixing. That's what the racists used to call it back. But people who are marrying interracial marriage, they think that racism is over because of that. And it's not. But it doesn't mean that it is as bad as back in Emmett Till. We make progress.
Racist people is going to always be with us. There's nothing you can do about that. That's why Jesus Christ suffered, bled, and died for that very same thing. Is because racist people going to walk amongst you. But who really cares about the quiet racist? He's a racist and he's quiet and he don't say nothing about it. He over there. If he not bothering you, he can be racist over there. As long as he don't come and shove it down my throat, I don't care what he is over there, right? He's not affecting me. If he ain't affecting me.
You don't know that.
But
you don't know what that quiet racist is doing. You don't know who he's influencing. You don't know what kids and grandkids he's influencing. You don't know that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
you don't know who he's supporting. Maybe he's sending money to the Klan. You don't know.
But when I'm speaking of quiet, I'm talking about the ones who just keeping it to himself. You know what I'm saying? If he's quiet with it, I agree with what you're saying right there. I agree with that.
Emmanuel.
If he's helping people be racist, that's a problem. And when I'm speaking,
but how do you know that if he's quiet about it? Quiet is kept. You know what quiet is kept is, right?
Hey, I'm just saying, man. Bro, if you got a health problem and it don't show up on this blood result, then good deal.
Then eventually, one day, it's going to kill you. Even if it doesn't show up, even if you don't know about it, it's still going to kill you.
It's you might. Hebrew Israelites. When they got the beards, they be like, but listen, brother, you got to understand that the quietness of the racism is just like bad health. And that's psychological because the Hittites and the Mennonites came from Mount Sinai. And that is the reason why the black man is the way he is. And the white man comes from the Caucasus Mountains. And that same psychology goes within their violence. That's why there's nothing wrong with a quiet racist, my brother.
Hey, but I kind of understand what that man is saying. Like, you're not finna go over there and just call him out and start trouble with this guy. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna let him be, but you're always gonna keep your eye open just in case. You know, that's what I think he was trying to say, and they're kind of spinning it another way. The way the man said, you know, he lives in Mississippi and he's been around it for all his life. So what can you do about it? Just leave them alone. If you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. But you always got to, you know, kind of keep your eyes, you know, one eye open and just paying attention to what they do.
The physical.
So that's the way I see he was saying it.
And they got a beard.
Autonomy of the equivocation.
Of the psychological prostration. See, brother, that's the problem with you brothers, man. See, I got a beard of knowledge. You see my beard? That's knowledge, my brother. And then the way I hold my hands means that I'm more educated than you. And I'm trying to tell you, we came from China, not from Africa, brother. Read right now. It says that the tribe of Judah will come and conquer the black man. Stop right there. Stop right there. As you can see right now, what I said was that a silent racist comes from the ancient Egyptians, brother, from the hieroglyphics. You got to understand. Read. It says that the hieroglyphics is the reason why the white man is quiet and silent. Stop right there.
And silence is golden. And remember the golden rule.
You got to understand, silence was invented in Africa. Silence was invented in Africa. Noise came from the white man. Silence was invented in Africa. There was a brother named Silencio. That's where silence comes from the Caucasus Mountains, brother.
Wait, do the face.
My brother. Read. Yo, man, you got to start using your knowledge, Don Lemon. I love what you're doing, brother. You got to start using your knowledge. I know you're from Louisiana, but that's where the slave mentality comes from, with the Creole shit, brother.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Andy, do you have the one about who dads want their daughters and what's racist and what's not? I'm going to see if you can make heads or tails of this.
Oh, shoot.
I don't even know where to start when you're talking about someone who doesn't want. Yeah, that's bias. That's prejudice if someone doesn't want, because it shouldn't be about race. You should be about you. If you're a father, you should be about who your daughter loves, whether you're a black man, a white man, or whoever. And so to say that if I don't want my daughter to marry a white man and I'm a black man, yeah, that's bias. That's racial bias.
So you can't have a preference for what cake or what car you prefer? Does that mean that you're prejudiced against?
Well, you can't compare cars. You can't compare cars to people. That's not the same thing. Come on.
Yo,
we not. So you're saying people not allowed to have a preference? That don't mean.
You're allowed to have a preference, but if the preference is based on race, that's problematic.
No,
because we're all humans. If you like people, some people like dark-haired people, some people like light-haired people. But if you discount an entire race, that's racism.
No. If a man says, "I want somebody that looks like me or resemble me to marry my daughter," that does not mean that person
That's not your decision.
Racist.
That's not your decision.
Yeah, we know it's not his decision. But he didn't say that. Decision. I didn't say anything that person would not accept another race come marry his daughter. God. I'm just saying it does not mean that a person is racist if he wants.
Are you in the
if a black man wants his daughter to marry another black man, that does not make him a racist. And the same with a white guy. If a white guy wants his daughter to marry a white guy,
look, I'm going to move on. Let me just say this. I'm going to move on because it's exactly what I said to you in the beginning of this. You're too close to it to even understand what it is. First of all, it's not that dad's decision about who his daughter marries. That's the point. That is actually misogyny, right? The fact that you think that you can control or you should control who your daughter marries, and the fact that you don't understand that.
Control it. I didn't say he can control it. She can pick. Oh God. No, here's where the racism come in. If his daughter brings home a certain person of another race, and then he says, "I don't want him in here," after that's what she chose, yeah, that's racist. I agree with you there.
No. That's not. That's racism. That's aggression.
If he
but
had
him
his preference, he would
preferring
prefer
someone of
his-
another preferring someone of his race, that is racism. I am preferring someone of my own race. That is the definition of racism. Now, if he gets aggressive with the other guy, that's aggression and violence. But to say, if you look up the definition of racism, it is preferring, in that definition, someone of your own race.
So when are you allowed to have a preference? When are you allowed to have a preference?
I gotta go. You can't have a preference. Everybody has a preference, but that's not racism.
But racism is totally different than a preference. If he prefers,
that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Like even like.
Oh my gosh, I'm not going to go on with this. I'm gonna send you someone who can talk to you better about this, and it's Eddie Glott. I'm gonna give you your number.
I actually like the guy. I actually like him.
Right?
I like that he says the wrong shit, but goes, yeah. But see, you picking somebody from another race is like ordering cake. If I like chocolate cake, I'm racist against the vanilla cake. See, it's to say you said we're not going to compare cars and cakes. Now, if I want a Rolls Royce and I don't want a Benz, I'm racist against the Benz. See, that's the same thing. Like I said before. The Hittites and the Mennonites coming from Mount Sinai wanted cake in Ecclesiastes verses.
So I don't know. I mean, I kind of seen what I saw what the guy was saying, and it seemed like they just kind of took it to a whole nother level. Like they put a spin on it, but I don't know how many black people we have in this live right now, but I've heard of some of my friends, they said that their parents have told them like, hey, I'm gonna be happy with who you choose, but I would prefer you to be with someone of your color because they always said they kind of understand each other, with the struggles that we go through in everyday life. So, there are a lot of people that's out there that say, they're happy with whoever their daughter or son chooses, but they would prefer them to stay in the same race. But like you said, ultimately it's up to the person that's gonna be with the other person. It's really their decision. But I mean, that's what the guy is basically saying. I don't know what Don them, they took it to a whole nother level. So because like I said, have heard and had some friends tell me, hey, you know what, man, my mom wants me to do this and do that. It wants me to be with this, but she's okay with who I'm dating, but they just want me to stay in my race because of, they feel like they can understand each other a little bit better. So I don't know what kind of spin they was putting on it.
5 through 7, it says, you shall eat chocolate cake within thy soul, but do not hate the white cake. Read! Well, listen, I see. Listen, like when black people say, I would rather you marry somebody black or be with somebody black, it's not coming from a racist standpoint. It's coming from a pride standpoint because of black people being so put down, and just having pride in your own people. When white folks usually say, I don't want you marrying a black person, it's because they just are being racist.
They're being racist, but like he said, I don't know about the pride standpoint, but I've heard of people saying I'd rather you stay in your race because they can understand the struggle that we go through. We can understand each other's struggle each and every day. They can kind of like a black woman can see what a black man goes through if he had like a rough day with a racist boss or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa.
They hate black people. They'll say, oh, you're ruining the bloodline shit. Like they're coming from a different angle. Black folks we can be bigoted, prejudiced and bigoted, yes. But as far as racism, that's a power thing,
That comes from power.
That comes from power.
Like systems of power.
Right. If a black person says, hey, man, I hope you marry a black man, or I hope you marry a black woman, it's just from black women being the least desired, the most over-sexualized. It's what propaganda has made black women. So or black men, always villainizing us, I think it comes from a place of pride and actually being proud of who you are, because we've been so trained to think white folks are the greatest things in the world, or being closer to white is better. So it's not the same. It's not the same thing. But my man was explaining, you explained it to him and then he tried to re-explain it to you. You know what I mean? It was really, but I actually liked the guy. He didn't get mad at you. I think he knew he was wrong.
Oh, he loved it. But he was like, no, listen, Don, listen to
yeah,
me.
he goes, Don, listen, man. Listen, man. Okay, forget the cake. Let's stick with cookies. Let's stick with cookies, brother. Let's stick with cookies. Chocolate chip cookies or pecan? But you know, that's what I mean when someone says, hey, when it comes to black folks, we obviously are not racist towards people. We just, black people, whether it's African, Caribbean, we've been beaten down by white supremacy so badly. When we just ask for our own people, it's coming from a pride thing. It's not coming from, we hate white people. No. But when it's them, it's usually, I don't want black people because I just don't like black people. And they have a history of it. We have proof. That's all.
Yeah, but also, look, Mark Lamont Hill used to tell me this all the time when he was on CNN.
Yeah,
and he's like, not everything is black and white, so to speak, right? Like the white, like reactions to white people are. It's not. You can't compare that to the reactions to black people all the time. It's not an apples and oranges situation, especially considering the history of this nation.
Yes.
But people don't like, but he did. Do we have one of those things, Andy? I'm not sure if he got the one where he said, we need to stop talking about racism. Like, when are we going to, because if we don't, he sounds like one of those politicians that say, if you just stop talking, I guess it's like MAGA. If you just stop talking about racism.
Can we all just get along?
Can't we all just get along?
So it's a guy. I read his book. It's Nathan McCall. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he made a book. It's called "Make Me Want to Holler." He was talking about, this racial thing and how he grew up, but he ended up getting a job at Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and he said, just going through all that, just seeing how the white journalists were being treated versus the black one. Then he ended up saying that it was one white guy that he just kept giving the cold shoulder to, and he just thought that the guy was just trying to portray or try to act like he liked black folks. But this dude, he really liked black people. He even moved into a black neighborhood and said that it was one time the white guy, his house got broke into. So when he came to work, all the white people, they were just making fun of him and telling him like, hey, I told you not to, move in that area and in that neighborhood and all that. He said he still didn't pay attention to him. He still stayed in that neighborhood, got everything back, still stayed in that neighborhood. He said it happens. Even if I was in a white neighborhood, it still could happen, So, I mean, there are some good black people out in this world. I truly believe that they're not all racist like that. Even if some were raised to be that way, some of them, they stare the other direction. They just will not allow that in their life, and that's good.
I have not heard that mentality since I left Louisiana, anything like that since I left in the early 90s.
Just stop talking. That's like saying, just stop talking about roaches and your house is all dirty. Come on, stop. You got to kill the problem. You got to clean up your house. You got to clean racism, and you got to clean up your mentality for that shit to go away. You can't just stop talking about it and then still have it in your head. It's just like sexism. You can't go stop talking about sexism and still be disgusting towards women, treating them like second-class citizens. You got to change your mentality and treat people accordingly for it to go away. But, I think, you know what? I just saw a video on Donald Trump's niece who just broke down racism, white racism. She's awesome. Have you heard about her? Mary Trump?
Mary Trump, yeah.
Ooh, she broke it down. She goes, white people have the privilege of forgetting of what happened. That's their problem. They always have the luxury of forgetting of what they've done to Native American people, black people. The system is geared for them to not actually have to think about it. That's why they get so riled up when you bring up the history. They don't want to learn about it. And you have to learn about it to better yourself. Hey, it's like going to a doctor's office. Whenever you go to a doctor's office, what's the first thing they pull out? They pull out your medical history. You have to know your history, the history of your family, diseases, so they can actually assess how you are, what they can do with you as far as treatment. No one goes into a doctor's office and they go, spread out your cheeks. Why? Don't worry about it. Let me just see what's going on in here. Oh, I'm the janitor anyway. I just want to warm you up for the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Everybody brings up, even when you
Wait,
watch.
that doesn't happen?
Even when you watch sports, Don, you watch sports, they always talk about the person's history. They always say this person was on this team, he got traded. They always talk about the history. That's why when you recruit athletes, you got to know where they went to school, where they played, how is their stats. It's the same thing with Black history. You should learn the history so you know how to behave going forward. But a lot of whites are very resistant to learning their history. They take everything personal. I go, dude, it happened. Why don't you just learn it so you can better yourself? But they think it's an indictment on them. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I go, learn your history, the proper history, so that you can treat people with respect, so that you can better yourself and not be that person that, I don't know, whoever your family was. I don't know. I don't know every white family. You feel what I'm saying? So, and there are whites that are working on it. They're online. Like you got Jolly Ginger who stands 10 toes on looking for justice. You got the Dixie white dude. You got a lot of white historians, from Tim Wise to, you got Jane Elliott in her 90s still doing her thing. So there are whites that are putting their asses on the line. And a lot of them stay silent because whites come at them, because they always say the worst thing than a nigger is a nigger lover. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why they get silent, because they're afraid, Yeah, man.
Okay. Let's talk about Nolan's white friends.
Yeah.
I have an explanation for you about why, possibly. Because when the photograph.
Hey, but that's what I feel like is going on in this Nolan Wells case. They're afraid. I really feel like a lot of them know. There's a lot of people that was on that island. They know what happened to him, and they know if he got left on that island, or if he was on one of those boats that left. People know. They're just afraid to say something because of the judge. One of the kids' stepmom is a judge. I mean, they're just afraid.
Photographs came out initially, it was just Nolan with all white people, right? And he's and so the world, this is not just Ben Crump. The family asked Ben Crump to come in. It's not like he volunteered to do this, okay? Mm-hmm. So, and not that I'm defending Ben Crump. I'm just sort of explaining to you why why people think race is involved, or why it's involved. First of all, let's just be honest, Emmanuel. We know the history of the country. We do know the history of Mississippi. And one of the best indicators of what the present is and possibly the future is the history, right? Of something, the history of your medical thing. You heard Al Sharpton say that at the funeral. When you go into the doctor and you say, this hurts, or I have this ailment, and they go, what medication are you taking? What's your family's medical history? Okay, so you have that history in Mississippi. Not everybody lives in Mississippi. And so the people who are on the internet, the people who don't live in Mississippi, they see a black guy with all white guys and they go, oh, he's the only one that didn't come home. The history of Mississippi, blah, blah, blah. So people start putting two and two together, and that's why race is involved in this, because that is the history of America. Now, whether race played a role in his demise, no one knows that. No one knows that. But there is no denying that race plays a part in this case simply because of the optics. That's where the race part came in. That may be offensive to some people there, but the truth is often offensive. That is the reality in America. Yeah, yes, sir. You can ask me. We're here to have a conversation.
Okay. When Emmett Till was killed in 1955, I believe it was, he died for whistling and simply looking at a white woman. Now, we have went from there to making babies with these white women. When does that go out of the window for as, this racial component of Mississippi history years ago? How can we accept that history when it comes to
can accept it by acknowledging the problem. You accept it by acknowledging the problem and acknowledging the reality of the history of the country. You accept it by saying, I understand why people think race is involved. I understand why.
I understand why people do it, but what I'm saying is it a fair assessment for us to live here
it's a fair assessment.
We have nothing but a bunch of we have nothing but mixed kids running around down here.
But just because you have mixed kids, because you have mixed kids, it doesn't mean that you're not racist.
But Don,
it doesn't mean that
dying now. Back then they died for looking at her. Now we're sleeping with them and having kids and nobody's dying.
One thing. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Emmanuel. Do you know why Nolan died or how?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right.
So I'm for an investigation. That's why I said I'm for Al and them coming here and investigating. But Don, what I'm saying is I don't think he should have led with this strong racial, the same people who killed Emmett Till. And I mean, that was almost 100 years ago. And we're now sleeping with white women, and white men are now sleeping with black women, creating babies with these people, man. I mean,
that doesn't mean that racism. I think that your idea of what racism isn't necessarily calling people the N-word or beating them up. It is a system that is based on superiority and history and present and sometimes people who are in relationships with people of a different ethnicity or a different background, they still have not dealt with racial issues. And sometimes, sometimes the love for people of a different ethnicity is a similar love, especially for blacks and whites, all right? Especially of a certain generation. It's the same sort of love that you have for a pet.
My God, here we go.
Where you are, I'm serious, where you love them, you protect them, you pay for everything, but it doesn't mean it's the same love that you have for a human being. It's kind of that, okay, I understand that. In America, the reason that we have this is because we don't deal in a fulsome way with race. We're not honest about it. And we think that racism is something where it is overt. It's not always overt. And there are people who came up through the civil rights movement and people who were discriminated against, they're still here. And the people who were part of the Klan, there's a huge Ku Klux Klan contingent in this country. There are people who are part of the Proud Boys who said that they're racist. There are people part of the new neo-Nazis. They say they are racist and they are open with it. So, and a lot of that comes from the South, from Louisiana, where I am, and from Mississippi. And if you go there, if I can drive 5 minutes from where you are and find a person who's involved in one of those groups and a person who's in that community. So don't tell me that racism is stamped out in Mississippi and where you are because people are sleeping together. First of all, people have urges, and people used to sleep with each other on plantations.
Which is true.
I'm just saying, the master used to sleep with the people on the plantation, women and men.
Right. I mean, I was out.
That's all about urge. That's a lot about urge, and you need to get your freak on.
Yeah, they did. They used to sleep with women and men, but it was the white men that was doing that. It wasn't us. We were slaves. It was the white man would come in and have their way with our people. And this I don't understand what they're talking about these mixed races for. I'm not understanding it. I don't know.
Oh man, that was a lot. Yo,
did you ever hear that story about the guy? It's on the internet. The guy who, God, I wish I could find it. The guy who said he was with his friend, who is a white friend, and they were talking about race. And he said his mom came in who was of a certain age. If you guys have seen it on the internet.
She called the N-word? No.
He said something about the N-word. Oh, he said, I was growing up and I had a nigger nanny, a nigger. And she never said her name. She was like, and I love my nigger nanny. I love whatever. And he said they were going to whatever. And he said, that's when he realized, like, for some people, the reason he knew the love was like a pet because he never mentioned her name. And that person who was her N-word nanny was over in the corner just like a pet. You treated them, just like you loved them, but it's not the same love that you have for a human being that
Black people need to stop being white people's nannies. Let's stop it. Stop And you know, in Manhattan, we got a lot of Caribbean women that take care of white children. Enough of that shit. Enough of it. Because that's sometimes how they see it. Because I know a lot of my friends who were raised by black nannies, Caribbean nannies from Trinidad and Tobago, and I see these black women with these strollers and these white kids, you know, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, black, and even in the elderly, you go to these nursing homes, some of the most racist elderly people end up having their asses wiped by black women at these nursing homes and these black men, you know. And when he said Emmett Till, and when he liked to use big words, and the racial component within that system, I'm like, and now we sleeping with white women, motherfucker. We've been motherfucking black and white people been sleeping with each other for thousands of years, man. They've been sleeping with each other forever. Just people in general have been running into each other and intermixing. Frederick Douglass was half black. Bob Marley, biracial. Some of the most important historical black people who fought for are biracial. What are you talking about? You know what I'm
Yeah, but we're getting punished for it though. They catch us sleeping with white women back in those days. We were getting lynched, hung for that. Um, there's another creator that I wanted to watch too, because she basically said that Don Lemon, she feels like Don Lemon has been compromised. I know it's Keisha, but I want to find the one where she's, well, yeah, here, I think it is. He said that he's been compromised. And also, like, before we start this thing, can anybody tell me, or do y'all feel like, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Does anybody feel like how I feel like that he was saying about the Proud Boys and all these racist groups? I did not hear of none of these groups until we got this president the first time. It seems like once he came in office, that's when they started just getting really bold and coming out. And then and now it's really getting worse. It's getting worse. You know, it's, if you look on social media, that's all you see, man. It's somebody harassing or saying the N word, and then you see them getting knocked out, or you end up seeing somebody basically harassing a black person because they feel like they shouldn't be in this area or be in this neighborhood. It just seems like it's getting worse. I don't know if it's just because of social media or if it's just, because he's this president. It just, to me, but I've never heard of the Proud Boys and none of that stuff until he became president.
I don't believe anything is going to happen because a lot of
See if I can get to
understand
this.
that case is very much similar to this. Why have no one been arrested? No one has been arrested. We have various versions of the CETO call, which is a real call. It's a real call. But people are not acknowledging the call and they're looking for other information. The call is the information, people. What are we doing here? You guys are searching for more information, which is good, but what else proves it more than this? What else proves what happened over what we heard here?
CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you? Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership. Oh, right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello? Hey. Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir? It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down there. All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir. I don't know the phone number. It's either.
Now, you guys have heard that already. It's the CETO call. When we heard the call, I was baffled because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be honest. When I first heard it, It took me a while to listen to it repeatedly over and over again. They have worked on it, various different audio engineers. What you guys have learned from listening to the CETO call is that pretty much everyone is about the same. You know, again, all of the calls were pretty much the same. What I noticed on this call, it says something about your entertainment. These people are barbaric. Don't even try to figure it out in your mind to say, well, why did this happen or why did they do this? Please stop trying to figure it out. If you try to figure it out like that, you're going to come up short every time. Understand that there are nasty, barbaric, nasty people out there. As I told you guys, I recently started researching the Tamala case. I believe Tamala was SA. That's just what I believe. It hasn't been proved. But I've learned that they did not do a great kid on her. Bunch of information that was missed. Did you guys know that in the Tamala case, in which she hung out with those white tea folks and ended up unalive, do you all know that the sheriff sent her husband messages basically laughing that his wife was unalive and making jokes, and then put Tamala's pictures online, you know, when they come and they take the pictures on the crime scene? Please understand these people are barbaric. That's the word that I'm using for right now. They're animals. Stop trying to figure it out, because if you're a normal human being like me, you would try to make sense of this. Please don't try to make sense of this. Don't make sense of it. You hear what you hear. Stop going to these conservative people that want you to think that nothing happened to Nolan Wells when we can hear it. This is what they play. This is code for them. We hear it, they'll come and deflect and say, oh, you didn't hear what you heard. That's not what you heard. That's fake. That's fake. Same situation with Tamala. She went to some white tea folks' home. She was a part of the, I believe it was the football community. She had, I want to say 4, maybe 5 boys. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. She had been married for a very long time. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. The case was closed. There were so many things off with that case that I'm just like, listen, I'm not even an FBI agent. But what we learned is that there were a lot of connections, much like this one thing we learned, that all of these different audios have a connection with, is all of everything that we hear is almost the same. But one thing that is very much consistent is that they said, is he dead? People stop trying to make it seem like we didn't hear that. So we're trying to solve a case when we hear them say he's really dead. Why would they say Nolan's name on a boat and he not on the boat? Now, if they were just having a regular conversation, that's different. But they said, is he dead? Is he really dead? No, 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 no. Oh, no. Bart, what did you do? We're not going to act like we didn't hear this. Oh, and let's talk about it. Because if it was fake, we wouldn't be talking about it. Guys, this was released by the Department of Marine Resources. Hopefully, I'm saying their name correctly. That is a state agency. I just want y'all to know this. Okay. So the narrative that these people are creating online, they're simply doing it because these are white kids. Because when Carmelo Anthony, who was a great student, everybody said this about him. He was accused before Carmelo Anthony was even indicted. They had been dragging him all throughout these internet streets. But when it comes to these white thugs, they give them every single benefit of the doubt. There are no benefits of the doubt. The call tells us everything that we need to know. So tell me, why are the people running around here saying that it's fake? Why are they saying this? It's not fake. This is not fake. If it's fake, I want them to sue the state. You know why they're not going to sue the state? Because if they sue them, then they will release everything. I also want you guys to know that this what we hear, while we can get the, what do they call themselves? Voice engineers. I'm not sure what the correct title is. If they sue them, they're going to release everything. And it's more. It's more. I mean, we know that it's more just based on what we hear. They're not going to sue. They ain't going to do nothing. They're going to continue to say it's fake, because if they can get it in your head that it's fake, and if for some reason these guys are charged with a crime, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I want to be as transparent and upfront as I can, I don't think anything is going to happen. I don't believe anything is going to happen because a lot of more information has come out, and it's been social media that has figured out what has happened potentially to Nolan Wells. Originally they said it was 1 boat, then it was 2. TikToker over there done figured out that it was 4 boats. And I believe this is the same TikToker that has given given information to the Cajun Navy. Now, a TikToker sitting in her house, minding her own business, going through content, she should be able to figure some things out. But if she's helping Cajun Navy, I can't trust anything that they say, because it lets me know that either they don't want to release the information, or they're just too stupid. Because we know that something happened to Nolan Wells, okay? There's been these lies saying that he was left on the island, but what they're not telling you guys is that there were people on the island. And I think you guys are missing it. There's people that spent the night on the island. There's some people that stayed there as late as 7:30 or 8 o'clock. You know what they said? He wasn't there. So if he was there, guess what? They would have saw him. They would have saw him. Thank you for your membership, Ms. Griffin. If you guys want to join our members community, make sure you do. I do have dedicated member-only live streams. So we're not going to listen to that whole audio because there's more that I want to get into. I simply want you guys to not forget the audio, because I want you to understand that is what they want you to do. If they can get you to believe that the audio is fake, then they got you. Because she's going to explain to you what she did. What she said is she gave the names of everyone that she heard on that call. This woman has no reason to lie or make anything up. Keep in mind, guys, we're all trying to get to what happened. We don't have we don't get anything extra for if it being Bart, Warren, or Wyatt, or if they all did it together. It means nothing to us. So we don't get anything extra for it being anybody who did it. Okay. She said that all of their names was heard on the recording. You know what she did say? She said that there were 2 females. She said she does not know who they were. So
the audio CTO call that was released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. This is unlike anything I've heard before. Someone reached out to me and sent it to me. I have verified that this person is who they say they are. They're an audio engineer with 20 years experience. They do not want me to share their name. I do know who their name is. I do know exactly who this person is. I don't know them personally, but I was able to confirm that they are who they say they are. And what is coming out in this audio, it's really disturbing. So I'm going to play that audio for you, and I'll let you come to your conclusions as to what you hear and what it means. I heard it, and it is disturbing, but I'm gonna play it for you and let you come to your own conclusions of what you hear and what it means. But before I play it, I want to read something to you that came directly from the person who created this audio. I spent some time with them on the phone.
So he's explaining, what I had said before. People are afraid. They don't want to say who they are. And it may not be a situation, too, guys, where they're afraid for their safety. These people are nasty, barbaric individuals. If you guys have been following me for any amount of time, you know that we over here on the Keisha channel raised $4,000 in one day for Carmelo Anthony. What did those barbaric individuals do? They got the account shut down. Okay. So it may not be a situation where individuals are afraid for their safety. These people get you fired. They do all kinds of nasty things. So the person that he is explaining is not a person that we know who their name is, because again, people are afraid. They don't want, to be fired from their jobs and, all of the things they do. Keep in mind, when we raised the $4,000 for Carmelo Anthony, and if you have not gotten your money back, I want you to submit a dispute. I have told you guys over and over again that they got that account locked. So I had no access to any of that money. It's still there. So if you donated, please do a dispute and get your money back, because it's still money in there. So I have had that Square account for years, never had a problem. These racist, barbaric individuals, they work with a lot of nasty, barbaric individuals because it's a society of nasty, filthy people. They did something and got my account locked, okay? I don't know what they did. So this is why the folks are afraid. Well, it could be one of the reasons.
Today, just to make sure that they're actually a credible source to do this. And in that conversation, I asked him, what did you do that's different from what other people have done to make the quality of this audio better? Because I wanted it to be credible, and this person explained to me in writing what they did. So I'm gonna read to you their explanation, and then I'm gonna play this audio. Trigger warning. I'm going to play this audio so you can hear it and come to your own conclusions. But first, it's kind of a long explanation, so bear with me. I'm going to read this explanation that they give, and then I'm going to play the audio for you and let you come to your own conclusions. So here's what he wrote. I am a professional audio engineer with over 20 years of experience. When I first reviewed the audio file, I realized that when I had on headphones, that the dispatcher's voice was only playing on one side of the headphones, and the caller's voice and their background were on the other side of the headphones, instead of everything playing on both sides like with normal music. It sounds like the agency uses either a gate or compressor or both, because the volume naturally goes quiet when there's no one speaking, but it's still able to record audio because the gate.
I also want y'all to understand this. And it took me a minute to really figure this out in my brain, because I'm just not like this. But for the safety of me and my household, we don't mess with certain people. And if we do, we go in groups. Like my son went to hang out with his friend, a white tee friend, and guess who was there in the background? Me. I don't trust them. I don't know what kind of shit y'all do, because I would have never guessed anything like this. So y'all can call it what y'all want. Okay, we're dealing among some nasty, filthy individuals. And if I don't know you, and if you look a little different, I will be there. Okay, because this is just how we're rolling. Okay, I want you all to also understand that there are so many people involved. Okay, there's so many people. And when I began to figure it out, I said, well, this is really dirty and low down. So this is why I feel like nothing is going to be done. It's not just the boys who was on the boat. There is now information coming out that adults could have been on the boat. There is now information coming out that the adults instructed them what to do. So if I'm a judge and I'm out instructing my son or my daughter on how to commit a crime, how does that work? How does that work? Do y'all really think that they're gonna lock these fools up? When the mammy, the judge, she seems just as crooked. She's running out here pretending that she's a victim. Well, we have Nolan mother being attacked, and then people are going to this lady's job reviews, lying on her. I'm just gonna be honest. We're not gonna stop talking about it because it was social media that made this case what it is today. Because mainstream media wasn't talking about no black boy being unalive. They don't care. They're spinning the narrative right now. We have a whole audio and they talking about it's fake. Let's talk about it. Yes, I've also heard that Bart is very connected to the sheriff, him and his family, and also connected somehow to the NFL. There is so many layers of connections, y'all, but let's finish this audio because I want to get into some of the connections that I didn't even know about myself.
Threshold isn't set lower to allow no audio when no one is speaking. This also means that the noise in the caller's background was loud enough to engage the gate to all this audio to be recorded, even when the caller is not speaking. This is actually the best way to capture phone calls for quality assurance. What this means is that you can hear the caller's audio and the background noises all on one side. So using the caller's audio as a starting point, this will produce something similar to Janetta's outstanding results, which I have repeated and can confirm that it's authentic. Additionally, when you listen to the call, there are a few instances where the dispatcher is talking and there's lots of noise coming through from the caller's return audio, meaning even though he's not speaking, whatever is loud enough on his end to be heard and gets recorded along with the dispatcher. What I have done differently was to focus channel 1, the dispatcher, and then selected any areas that I heard more noises than just the dispatcher. When I worked on raising the volume in these areas by applying gain, which is essentially raising the volume, this worked in areas where visibility, no audio can be seen. But the audio is actually there, but doesn't show up visually until you raise the volume. I did this individually on any area that looked blank. And I also applied this to areas that were simply low in volume, essentially making everything near the same volume level.
No, I wasn't a full-fledged fighter. Let me correct that. Actually, no, I was not. I'm actually a very nice person, but I didn't take no shit and I didn't have problems with people. And the little problems that I did have, they were resolved relatively quickly. So I don't take kind to threats. Nobody in my lifetime ever threatened me, except for when I was younger, before I realized that in order for people to leave me alone, I may have to put my foot in a tail. So once I figured out that, I didn't have any problems because my mother told me, don't come back here telling me nothing else that nobody did to you. Because if you don't put your foot next to their tail, I'm going to put mine next to yours. So I was like, listen, I'm not going to have any problems, but let's kind of get into it. So I was not, but everybody have a few problems every now and then. So, I just needed to let the folks know that just because I was little me, that, I could get with them. Okay. So once we understood that and they understood that, I just wasn't this nice, pretty face and that they could not run over me, I ain't have no more problems.
Doing this reveals more of what was actually recorded. Absolutely no AI was used. Only normalize and gain was applied via iZotope RX. Not sure what that is. I'm not an audio engineer, but iZotope RX. No other tools were used. All basic audio programs have these two functions, and it doesn't falsely manipulate anything. It just raises the volume level. Now I have applied lots of gain because the voices are sometimes faint. So when more aggressive gain is applied, you start to hear the syllables in the words a lot better. Visually, the final audio file looks like what we would call as engineers.
So basically, what he's doing is he's reading off what the engineer said. Again, the people don't want to come out, they don't want to reveal their identities. What he's simply saying is, and I learned a lot when y'all calling into places and you on hold. I hope you ain't doing nothing illegal, because I didn't know that they can hear you. Not saying I did anything illegal, but a lot of times if I'm on hold, I may, be on the speaker and I'm doing 4 other things. So I said, well, I'm gonna make sure I mute it next time. What he said is, this is what they do to improve their customer service. And what they do is they're able to do something with their volume so that they can hear what you're doing, which is crazy. I didn't know that. So, we learned something. So because they were able to do that, that is why we can hear what's going on in the background. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, I know I'm kind of guilty of that. How many of y'all guilty of that? Be on hold, you hear the music or something like that, it's just silent. You end up talking to somebody else or talking crazy about the company that you on hold with, and they're listening or they're recording everything you say. That's crazy.
Because this is what a lot of companies do to improve their customer service. This is what he's explaining.
Too hot. But this isn't a regular recording. It's from a telephone, which only has a limited spectrum of sound. Normal audio, like from a lavalier or podcast mic, would not be able to withstand this amount of gain. This is something I learned when engineering music for major labels. Now, I primarily engineer audio for TV commercials, city and state initiatives, as well as podcasts and interviews. I also do videography to keep the lights on. In my opinion, the clips are still noisy and a lot more can be pulled out, but the intent was to prove these pieces of audio exist. I don't want any reward. I'm not curating an audience. I'm just rattled after taking the initiative to see what I could do and finding what is unimaginable. I was already nearly done with the entire call when Janetta released her work. And respectfully, I fell back because I had already released a few short clips. However, after Janetta's backlash, I decided to publish my full version of the call. I initially called Ben Crump's office before releasing a single piece of audio, but after a few days with no response, I decided to go at it alone and started releasing short clips and eventually the entire call.
And while they're going around trashing Ben Crump, he's saying that the person who did this one, they reached out to Ben Crump. Ben Crump didn't even reply. So while people think that, making up these lies on Ben Crump is doing this. He's an experienced attorney. He's not no clickbait attorney. He's not looking to race bait. I mean, they just stated that they called Ben Crump numerous times and Ben Crump didn't even reply. So I wish that people would leave Ben Crump the hell alone. If you guys are new here, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel.
When I went back and I started refining my work because I realized I missed a few areas where I did not apply gain and new voices and sounds appeared more clearly. This does take a while to go into each little part, but the results is something easier to listen to. It's not perfect, but I also know the law enforcement has a lot better forensic tools for audio iZotope RX. Surprised they haven't done this already. So that's him explaining what he did. I'm now going to play that audio for you that came from him doing all the things I just read. Again, trigger warning. This was really, really jarring, but here is what he came up with when he cleaned up the audio in a different way, as I just explained in what he wrote.
Over, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
Now, the difference in his audio, again, in most of these audios, what we hear are pretty much the same. There's a few variations. In this one, y'all, I heard the grasping or gasping for air, which makes me believe this is why they did not send his throat. They kept his throat. Why did they keep his throat? Seemed like he was choked. This is what it seems like. We have a brain that works, right? It seems like he was choked, because if he wasn't, why did they keep his throat? Okay. Was he hit on the back of the head? I don't know. They said that there was something red back there. In this audio, it sounded like he was taking his last breath. Why are we not talking about this? Why? We're running around looking for more information. No, we need to stay right here. This is where we need to be. There's no more information that we need to look for that's juicier than this right here. I mean, we can talk about other clues, but why is Nolan gasping for air on a boat and we hear people saying F you while we don't know what happened? We know he was on the boat and that he was gasping for air, and them saying is Nolan dead? Why would they say that? That wouldn't make any sense. Mother effer dead. This seems like a hate crime to me. This seems like a hate crime to me. The MF dead? Who says that? Was this some sacrifice for some sadistic ritual? I'm just not understanding. This don't seem like a mistake to me. This seems like a setup to me. This seems like a setup to me. In one of the calls, someone can be heard saying, this is for your entertainment or some barbaric shit. Is the MF dead, y'all? Why are we looking for more information? What more information do we need? What more information do we need?
Hello? Hey. Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
Why haven't investigators acted on this audio? Yes, I don't know how long it's been out, but can you tell me, Elham 14, why no one is really talking about this? We just gonna overlook this, and you know what are we doing here? Why are these people not in jail? Who it is, folks, the jury or whoever, the grand, whoever those folks, I can't even remember the name. Tell me in the chat, who are the people that they are supposed to be sending the information to? Forget that. Why are these people not locked up? Why are they not locked up? Why are we steady digging and looking for information when we got it? What other information do we have that's better than this?
It's coming up. We're just thinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
So, what it seems like to me is that the call was some sort of an alibi. That's what it seems like to me. I don't know. I don't know what crazy people do when they commit crimes, but it seems to me that this was an alibi. Don't try to reason with it. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to say, well, why would they do this? Don't try to do it. Now we're going to go into our fourth person, and we all know who she is. This was the Black lady who came out, did work on the audio, and the barbarics did what they did, harassed, and you know what they do. This is what they do. They have a history of harassing and taunting Black people, including doing nasty things to women, children, and men. So this is what they do. Barbaric animals.
All right, so I mean, she got a point there, but I don't feel like they're gonna try to arrest anybody off of that phone call or whatever this enhanced audio because some people can argue that it was doctored, so they're not gonna go off of that. And she says that she feels like nothing's gonna happen because all these people are in cahoots together. Could be. It's a possibility. But as far as trying to just lock somebody up because of this enhanced audio, you can't do that. I don't think that that's right. I don't think that that's fair. I know they're not playing fair, but I just don't think that that's right. And then she said that this guy tried to contact Ben Crump and send him this audio. Well, we already know that Ben Crump said that he had some people that was working on this audio to see if they can enhance it and find out what's exactly on this call. So that's probably why he's not doing that. He's not gonna do it from nobody else except for the people that he knows that he can trust and stuff like that. So I just don't think that they're gonna move on just this phone call. And then what people are saying. The girl that we watched earlier, she had a point, but she was really basically talking about Brandon Tatum. And then there's some more videos of her like coming out with the timelines and stuff like that, but they're not gonna just go off of her because she's just a regular individual. She's not like an investigator or anything like that. So we've all seen this, Jeanette, where she said she was getting harassed and all that stuff. But I want to get to this part where she was talking about Don Lemon. I think it was closer to the end. And then I'm gonna go and read this article from the people on the people that was arrested. It was like 3 people that's been arrested. So I'm gonna go read that. And it was some girl in Ohio. She said some really crazy things. And then they just arrested a third person. I don't know what he said, but I want to read after this is over. I'm gonna read that. And I really would like to open this chat up, bring some people up and see what y'all think about it. Maybe y'all have some better clues, because like a lot of this stuff has been solved through social media, these creators, and then just regular people. So if anybody wants to come up, I'm gonna put the link. I'm gonna set that link up, and it's up to you guys. Let me see if I can find this. What she said about. Hold on. About Don Lemon. Okay, it might be back here. I think it was right here. It's somewhere. I think it's coming up. But I want to see, she said she did a whole little video about Don Lemon, but it was a couple of days ago. I'm not going to go into that, but it was something she said earlier today about him, too.
People that's involved. It's so many people. But she goes into the lineage of different people and their backgrounds and who they were connected to. And now you understand why nothing is being done. Nothing is being done.
Major funders for Turning Point USA. Supported racial segregation and backed the racist governor, to preserve segregation in the state. The federal grand jury.
So, we watched this earlier. Well, whoever was on here earlier, we've seen this already. So
conducted a 3-year-long investigation into his administration and several state agencies, and they were all accused of corruption and mismanagement. Finch was never found guilty himself, but some of his aides and appointees were indicted. And those sort of political connections seem to trickle down through the generations, so now we know why the governor got involved. And I started looking into the lawyer that's handling the defamation case from the Bart family. So from 2015 to 2018, he was state director of Americans for Prosperity. Then in 2018 to 2020, he was vice vice president of Stand Together while being vice president of Americans for Prosperity. Stand Together is a Charles Koch nonprofit, and Americans for Prosperity is a libertarian conservative political advocacy group affiliated with Charles Koch and David Koch. And if you don't know who the Koch brothers are, they're fucking evil. Guess who's one of the major funders for Turning Point USA? Major donors for the Koch brothers also are primary financial pillars for Turning Point USA, specifically their campus operations. And guess who used to serve as the director of urban engagement? Not only have I found more evidence of a
So, guys, this is a cover up. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Yeah, so we gonna keep talking about Nolan Wells. We have the audio. The audio is out there. We are not going to not talk about this audio. Yeah, I'm a block queen. I mean, I feel like, you don't got to be here. So, don't be here, but I will block you. You should go find, somebody on YouTube where maybe, they'll let you cuss in their chat. I don't know, but you don't get up out of here. But listen, guys, we are not going to stop talking about, somebody says send this to Crump. Let me make sure y'all understand. Crump is very knowledgeable. Silence should tell you everything that you need to know. Crump has way more information than he's probably telling because Crump knows that this is a cover up. He's not coming out saying it's a cover up because at the end of the day, he really wants to work with them to get a resolution. But trust and believe that Crump is collecting every single bit of evidence that he needs to sue them because, they're not doing anything about this. They're not doing anything about it. Somebody said, did the video freeze? It's fine on my end. Maybe it's your internet. I don't know. But guys, listen, we are not going to stop talking about this. But let me know what you guys are learning over there on TikTok. Because like I said, I posted a video and I said Nolan Wells and it was blocked for community. And I'm like, so Nolan Wells now is a name that you can't use on TikTok. So just be cognizant about the stuff that you're listening to. Don't let anybody on YouTube tell you that the audio is fake, okay? Because if the audio is fake, then a lot of people are finna get sued, okay? Starting with the Mississippi Marine Resources, okay? So don't believe it. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for oh, wait a minute. I gotta read the dang on. Oh Lord, I didn't read my bad, y'all. Let me read y'all this little Trace and boy.
Top of it off, load it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then why we put
All right, so I put the link up in the chat, but I'm gonna read this article because about this the third person being arrested. They're talking about nobody's been charged in his disappearance, but anyway, it says in the latest update, Edward James Porter, 40, was arrested on charges of transmitting threatening communications in interstate commerce. And then it's the Sunday Herald WXXV 25 reported Tuesday, August 4th, citing court records. According to court documents obtained by Sun Herald and WXXV 25, Porter allegedly told a witness he would come kill them or unalive them and their family, then sent the witness their home address to show that he knew where they lived. So what witness are they talking about? So this guy right here, we already know about him. I think he was in California where he threatened to unalive the judge and he told her to have the kids there so he could see it, so they could see it. And this is the lady right here, Michelle, I guess Francine Edwards of Cincinnati, Ohio, has been arrested on the same charge, allegedly calling the George County Clerk's office several times and making bomb threats, including saying the clock is ticking, according to the criminal complaint previously cited by the Sun Herald. It wasn't immediately clear if any of them have entered pleas or retained attorneys to speak on their behalf. But I think they said that she was, how they called her, she was calling like star 69. And they ended up, I guess, retracing it, going back and finding out the numbers. She was blocking her number, so that was kind of dumb of her. And it's really dumb of anybody to be sending threats to either side. It's crazy because you really just making it worse on both sides. And I don't feel like the Wells family, they don't need that stuff coming in, even because just like what I was telling y'all earlier, the okay, Brandon Tatum. If anything comes in that just a little bit, it's just something small. If it comes in and it's towards those boys and their families, they're gonna automatically blame Ben Crump or either the Wells family because they're sitting there enticing it, and it's crazy. I don't understand that whatsoever. Why they would say that, but they're not even saying anything about the phone calls that his mom is getting. His mom is getting the phone calls. They're not saying nothing about that. She said she went online and she said that she had to like tweak her phone. She had to use different settings to keep the people from harassing her. She had to go on D&D, put her phone on D&D sometimes. So I don't know, man. It's just crazy the way this thing is going. Let me see what it. Oh, let me see. Oh, that was Colin K. Yeah, it's just crazy the way this thing is going, man. And I just really hope they really find the people that did it. Everybody's leaning towards Bart, and they don't. They're leaning towards Bart that he did it, and the all the other people are afraid, and then they're afraid of the Wells guy because his mom is a judge. But I just really hope that they just do this the right way and find out what happened to Nolan Wells. Rest in peace to him, and love and condolences to his family. This is sad, man, because you think about it. What if it was your family member? It's terrible. You gotta think about it, man. Just what if it was your family member? And then on top of that, she's a nurse practitioner. Like she's in this small town, so the somebody that could really be helping her, she may end up having to help them one day or save one of their family members' lives. So just got to think about that. It's crazy, man. It's terrible that these people will not reach out and help her because I know somebody's seen something. But this link is up there. It's in the chat, man. I'm gonna give it a few minutes. Nobody wants to come up, then I'm gonna go ahead and get off of it. I just really, really, really hope that somebody comes forward and say and let that family know what happened to him. Because you never know when it may be you or somebody that you know. Trying to see if I can find that. Oh, this one here, man. I don't know if this is like really true. Shout out to this Tissa Tell. She said something about uh they're questioning. Well, it's the same girl, you know what I'm saying? If y'all go on TikTok, that Jay Megan, I think they're questioning Katie's situation. They said that she used to like just date black men. So I don't know. You tell me what y'all think about that situation. I just do not know. All right, man. I guess nobody don't want to come up, man. I thought y'all want to come up and speak y'all's mind. Let somebody know what's going on. How y'all feel about it? All right, well, I gotta say is, man, rest in peace to Nolan Wells. I know it was a few more they talked about, Tyler Smith, and I think it was Daniel Erving. They're saying it seems like all them cases are going in the same way. That everybody's trying to cover up something, but I just wish we could all just get along, man. We need a lot more love in this world, or especially in this country. And I feel like they just need to get off the black and white thing. We're all human beings. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. So I hate it for them, and I hope that they do find out what happened to Nolan Wells and get them some justice, because they're not even just they're not playing fair in this situation. That they arrest 3 people for threatening this federal judge, but nothing for his mother, and she's the one that's going through it. She lost her son. They said they was giving her bad reviews on her job. I don't know. Somebody said that she got fired, but I think she had her own practice. But doesn't matter. They shouldn't even be doing that anyways, because she's already going through it. So it's terrible. But I appreciate you guys rocking with me. You know, I ain't the one that's gonna tell you to hit the like button and all that stuff. I mean, if you want to hit it, hit it. If not, it's all good. I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. I got a few subscribers, man. You know what I'm saying? I call my little subscribers the J Crew. So if y'all want to rock with me, subscribe to the channel, become a part of the J Crew. Once I get to a certain amount of subscribers, yeah, I'm gonna start doing something for you guys, man. But I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I'm gonna try to go live again, maybe tomorrow, if not the next day. Until then, man, y'all stay safe. Show some love, man. Show some love to somebody. Stop putting out all this hate. And really, we just don't know what happened. I mean, it could turn out that them boys could be innocent. We just don't know. So, y'all stay safe, man. And I appreciate y'all rocking with me. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.